Hey guys, this is Mr. TV, and we are going to talk about Total Drama Islands 2023, the reboot, season 2. Oh my gosh, there is so much I can say about this season, and all I'm going to say is season 2 so far has been such a great season compared to season 1. I feel like the writing is like way greater than last time, and all the characters have great dynamics this time. And like I feel like some of the characters who felt bland last season really have some growth this season. So I absolutely enjoyed it. So let's just get into these 6 episodes. Basically, I'm gonna just do a little quick review over the first half of the season, and I will come back and tell you about the whole deal. So we're just gonna go through it character by character. So let's just do it based off the elimination order from first season. So Caleb, oh my gosh, Caleb is, doing really good this season. I am enjoying his story arc with Priya. In this season, Caleb and Priya are, you know, Caleb is trying to form an alliance with Priya, so he forms a quick bond with her. But Priya is catching feelings, and I think what Caleb was doing at first was trying to, like, intentionally make Priya attracted to him by flexing off and showing off his muscles so that she would be convinced to join the alliance. But yeah, Priya's feeling more than just, attraction to Caleb. And in episode 6, Caleb was starting to turn more into, feeling attraction for Priya. And I love how this storyline is going. I mean, from what I'm seeing, I'm thinking that since Z knows what's going on, he'll, spill the beans after Caleb and Priya get together, and then Priya gets mad at Caleb, i.e., so then Z gets out, Caleb makes up to Priya and realizes that he loves her or likes her, and they get together. So yeah, Caleb's been really enjoyable. I think that he's gonna make it pretty far since we're now in the merge. I guess I'll just split up into thirds. I think Caleb can make top 6, top 8, maybe even top 4. I don't see him making it to the finale though. All right, next up, we're going to do Axel. Oh my gosh, guys, Axel was so good this season. I feel like she has grown to be more of a character and a little bit more of her own character this season, because Ripper shockingly has a crush on Axel, and now they're together. And it's one of the funniest couples I've seen, although they are more like a, kissing couple, which is like yuck, and they just kiss like Bridget and Jeff, but it's like to a comical degree. And I'm enjoying how Axel is, playing the game and really trying to take it seriously. But what I see happening is Axel's gonna realize that Ripper is her weakness, so she pauses the relationship, then one of the two gets out, and then possibly she can make it really far. I think Axel's a good character this season, and hey, she made merge. Her and Caleb made merge after being the first 2 people out. So I'm impressed and glad. I've enjoyed them. Next is Nichelle. So Nichelle, I love how they started off the season by, making everyone just be like, I don't care about Nichelle. She's not that special. And I'm like, that's interesting. And then Nichelle talks about how she went training so that she could improve herself in the game and be an asset. And everyone still doesn't believe her until that first challenge, and she beats Bowie after Julia gave him the win. So yeah, now Nichelle was a powerhouse and she was skilled. But I feel like after that first episode, they were kind of just making it like a little generic, like, oh, I'm good at challenges. Haha, Hollywood could never. And, it was all right the first episode, maybe even the second or third. By the fifth episode, though, like, man, because Nichelle has this argument with Julia, and then Julia wants revenge. And so, out of nowhere, randomly, Julia finds time to, make a fake contract, which is surprising since, she was busy all challenge. But anyways, so with that going on, Nichelle obviously chooses to quit and go back to Hollywood. Only thing is, I feel like Nichelle didn't need to win because she's a famous, popular person, and that was in my prediction. I still wanted her to make Merge. And I feel like ultimately what they should have done is make Nichelle either really struggle with being this new rock in challenges and trying her best, or make her show more that she misses Hollywood. So yeah, that's it. At least Nichelle is technically the person who got out right before Merge, although that still kind of sucks that it was episode 5. Anyways, on to the next person, and that is Scary Girl. So, Scary Girl's appearance this season was very short, and she was the new girl because no one recognized her when she had on normal clothes. And honestly, her normal clothes just looked like her trying to be like a camp counselor. But anyway, I just feel like, they kind of threw her out. They were like, look, let's just make her normal. Let's not give her anything. Let's just blah. And I'm like, I'm not hating it because Scary Girl is a choice, but it does suck that she didn't get to have her sprinkle this season like she did the first season. But at least we have the first season. Now, she said that she was going to get revenge. Will she get revenge? We don't know. But she also said that last season. And that's one thing I wish, if we would have had the 26 episodes, is if we would have had Scary Girl, come back and get her revenge. So we can get something. They still might do that, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, and on to the next person, which is Damien. So Damien, I feel like he's been coasting through until he showed up and showed out. And by that, I mean, in episode 1, he only screamed. And then in episode 2 and 3, he had an arc of, Millie did him really dirty and almost got him killed. And, Damien then forgives her. And then Damien realizes he needs to take more risks. But in the next 2 episodes, he's still very frightful and doesn't really do anything. And there's no really showing of that transition. And then in episode 6, out of nowhere, he wins. And I'm like, great. Didn't expect it, but great. And I'm not going to say I don't like his character, but I feel like he felt too backgroundy throughout the pre-merge. So by the time we got to merge, you're just like, oh, dang. Good, but dang, because it's out of nowhere. I just feel like if we could have comprehensive and consecutive writing that flows together for him, he can do better. Because at the beginning of the season, I was almost concerned on whether they were going to make him a winner or even make it far. But he still has potential to make it far and possibly potential to win. I don't know. I can't think of anyone who was like a background character throughout the first few episodes and still won in any of the other seasons, except maybe the ice dancers. I don't know, but we'll move on from him. Next up, we have MK. MK is doing so great this season. So MK and Julia have paired up to become this tag team double villain, and I'm just like, this is great. because technically both of them were kind of on the outs, more Julia than her. And it's kind of fun watching them cheat together and things like that. Especially since, you know, MK did all those little cheating things last season. I mean, the biggest thing is when she was looking at the confessionals. But other than that, she didn't really, make as much of an impact as she probably would. But this season, she went all in as a fake intern, and her cheating was really fun to watch. And, eventually she gets caught, and Chris punishes her. And the funny thing is, if it was just cheating, she would have got away with it. But Chris is here on live camera being as bad as it was, and I knew it because, Chris has never had a problem with cheating, i.e. Courtney's elimination in Island. So I don't think, had it just stayed cheating, it would have been all fair game. I mean, slightly unfair to the other team, but that's the drama. So yeah, but other than that, I think MK is doing great this season, and I hope she doesn't have to be a punching bag per se the rest of the merge, but a little more punishment and, a new cheating tactic, just so she can stay a little more interesting in the game. All right, and finally we're on to Raj and Wayne. I can still talk about them together. So Raj and Wayne entered the season having fun, and now it's the three of them with Bowie. And I do think it's interesting how they played off this season. So Raj and Wayne are still in the game, and we're at the point of merge and Bowie's out. So I'm interested to see what they're gonna do, because in the pre-merge, Raj and Wayne really had this thing of how they don't cheat, and I was like, that makes sense. They're sports players and faithfully on that. So I found that like an interesting storyline for Raj and Bowie on, will Bowie choose cheating or his boyfriend? So yeah, and watching that play out was really interesting. Although I have to admit, the early merge kind of came out of nowhere, and I would have liked for them to fully conclude the arc in the pre-merge with one of the three of them going. Although technically they kind of do that right afterward. I have to say, it's kind of, sad that Bowie left already, because Wayne didn't really get anything to do, and now Raj has nothing but Wayne. Because, what they were about to set up, what I thought they were setting up in the merge was Wayne feeling like a third wheel, or being separated from Raj because Raj has Bowie. And that would have been a good little storyline for a bit until someone got out. But they went ahead and eliminated Bowie. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but I really hope one of them gets eliminated and then another one gets eliminated later. Because if they get double eliminated again, that'll be really repetitive. I mean, I don't know. They need to find something for them to do. There was like a good little dynamic with Wayne and Julia for a bit. Other than that, I don't know what they're gonna do. But we'll see. We'll see what they got. Next up is Ripper, and Ripper this season has been great. I can talk about the comedy with him. So he's only farted once from the recap in episode 1, and twice in a creative, fun way when they had that sticky sap. The fart jokes have been few and futile compared to last season, where there was a whole episode dedicated to farts. I feel like this season they've definitely been more creative with how they've done all the jokes, and Ripper's jokes have been a lot more funny to me compared to last season. Instead of having a goal of trying to be the best in a fart competition, he wants to win Axel. And it was really adorable those first few episodes when he was trying to get together with her. And when he finally got her, I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. And seeing them together is a fun dynamic, and it's just hilarious throughout. Although I have to admit, I feel like it should have been a bit more of a transition instead of just a insta get together and act really hooked up. But for what we have, I'm enjoying it. It's good TV. And the best part is, Ripper feels like a good character who can still make funny jokes and do funny, weird nudity things, but not be disgusting in a way. At least for me. So yeah, let's move on to the next person. So Z this season was kind of like Damien in the pre-merge and was coasting without really having anything to do. I did think his whole sponsorship with the soda thing was going to be something he was going to just be doing, but it really didn't amount to much. He just basically said he's going to drink soda. And I have to admit, he is definitely drinking more soda this season than he did last season, which is kind of shocking how the soda guy didn't have his soda last season like that. But I'm not complaining, I'm just noticing. And then they let Z into the whole Priya and Caleb debacle, and I'm like, okay, Z has something. So now that Z has something, he's in between, and he knows that Caleb wants this for an alliance, and Priya wants her and Caleb to get together in a couple. And you know, it's good TV, and I'm assuming Z is gonna spill the beans any minute now. I'm not gonna say in the next episode, but very soon. So yeah. But yeah, Z's always enjoyable to watch, and I can't wait to see what we have for him. Although I'm pretty sure he's not winning at this point. Anyways, on to Chase. So Chase got out pretty early this season, which is not at all a bad thing. I mean, he got eliminated in episode 2. So he was just, being full of himself, talking about his hair. And then Emma strategically got Chase to get full of himself instead of in the challenge and got himself eliminated, basically. And I was like, that is such a good thing. Honestly, I feel like the way that Chase and Emma was handled this season was so quick and painless. They just ripped them out, literally. And I'm just like, why did they do this last season? And that's the biggest thing. I feel like the way they handle Chase and Emma this season is so much better than last season. Because it's so long and drawn out last season, and it's, ugh. And now this season, they're gone. And yeah, and I'll go ahead and add Emma. The only thing I really found interesting was when she got eliminated, she was talking about, oh, I guess we'll have to go back to making millions on my videos and doing dances. And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, it makes sense, but that just made me really realize, they really didn't need to go that far ever. I mean, Emma just about coasted after Chase left that episode, and then, they randomly made her not know everyone. I mean, it makes sense because Emma was so devoted to hating Chase, she really didn't get to know everyone. So I guess when she noticed everyone was teaming up, she was trying to prove that she was still useful. So the storyline for her elimination doesn't, not add up. So yeah. Next up, we have Julia. Oh my gosh, Julia this season, all evil, and Julia is on it. She's been doing the cheating and the, rivalry, the evil. I just feel like, Julia's on her A game. And it's really fun watching her, be evil throughout the season instead of having that whole transition to villainy last time. She's going full for it. And it's really fun. Although I gotta admit, she has not been on her phone this season. So weird to point out, but I just noticed it. She has not been on her phone. And yeah, she's really been on her A game. And that whole plot with the cheating in the pre-merge was pretty enjoyable. I feel like having the 6 of the skunk butt team disagree and argue is really fun to watch. So yeah. And I think, I'm really excited to see what Julia has next up for everybody. Next, we have Millie, who I'm so glad she went. Millie was one of the blandest characters who managed to float all the way to the finale last time. This time, she got out in episode 3, and I'm so glad. I feel like the way she got out made sense. Although I gotta say, it's sad that really Millie can't be trusted to do anything because Priya left her simple instructions on how to, you know, win the season, and she didn't want to read through those. Then she goes ahead and tortures Damien, and then everyone eliminates her, which I'm not mad at. I'm glad they found a way to excuse her getting eliminated while keeping Priya. So yeah, I'm so glad she's gone. But I gotta say, she was a little bit better this season. I don't know. It just felt good to not have her here and have Priya be herself. And honestly, I feel like it was for her good because Priya was so bland with Millie around, but she feels like a fleshed out character this season. Okay, next up we have Bowie. Bowie was so good this season. I enjoyed him until his last moments in episode 6. His relationship with Raj, while I was, expecting more of an argument, I do like how their storyline of will I cheat or will I not cheat worked out. And in all retrospect, I guess the snowball fight was a good conclusion to him choosing to play fair. And I enjoyed that. And, it sucks he didn't make it further. But, we move on, we digress, we evolve. And next we have Priya. Priya was a fun character this season. She's been feeling more like a nerd and having feelings for another competitor. And I feel like the way that Priya's been written this season, she's been really entertaining. Because, she's being like a teenager and not just a robot trained to win. And ultimately she did win. I still don't like how she won in season 1, but that's a story for another day. Anyways, I feel like her, storyline with Caleb is so enjoyable, and I can't wait to see how that flows out. Even though I feel like the relationship with Caleb and Priya is kind of out of nowhere, even though everyone was wanting her to get with Damien, because that would have gave Damien something to do. I do think that, it's not a bad choice, and it would, be really cool to see them get together, because they have some things in common. So I'm not hating it. And we've talked about everyone. Finally, I've enjoyed watching this season, guys, and ultimately I can't wait for the rest of the season to come out. But I got a few things I want to overly talk about. So one of the biggest gripes I've had so far is the off-screen reasons for eliminations. Like Nichelle and Bowie pulled a whole Caleb from season 1. I feel like, they've spent too much time making it to where, they'll have the challenge go on for too long and they don't have enough time to show the elimination or the cause for it. And I feel like we can take a little bit more time setting up eliminations. And even if it's not going to be a whole separate scene after the challenge, it can be during the challenge. There can be hints of an elimination during the challenge. Hello, that's what happened with Chase and with Emma and Millie. I feel like, it would be so much better if we can have eliminations flow together and not feel like out of nowhere. And I mean, we like a good surprise elimination, but surprise eliminations can be winners like 2 or 3 people who should go home and then someone you don't expect, or one of the 3 that you least expect to go home. But it would just feel so much better if there was more continuity with all the surprise eliminations like that. So I really hope we don't get any more eliminations like that. But other than that, this season's been so much more enjoyable. The challenges are better, the comedy is better, the story's better, and I feel like everything about this season really seems like and feels like what season 1 should have been. And in retrospect, it could have been. Because what we do is we say that Millie and Priya were friends from the beginning and she just didn't win. He randomly picks team leaders and some stuff like that. Honestly, it would be really nice to see, you know, a world where everyone was in their mentality in season 2 and season 1. Or if we just had 26 episodes in season 2. But overall, this season has been great so far. I can't wait to see what the merge has in store because we have 10 people and 7 episodes left. So, yeah. Anyways, let's, wrap this up. I've enjoyed talking about this season. I can't wait to see what else we have in store. Do I have any predictions? Let's see. So, I think that Z is going to get out soon. Axel or Ripper is going to get out soon. One or both of the Hockey Bros is going to get out soon. Let's see. Priya or Caleb will get out right in the middle chunk of the cast. So around like episode 9, 10, or 11. And my contenders for winners would have to be MK, Julia, Damien, possibly Caleb, Ripper, or Axel. I think those are mine. Unless they give Wayne and Raj something to do, those are my picks. So yeah. Anyways, I've had fun talking to you guys about the season and talk to you soon. This is Mr. TV signing out.